I've been waiting for a year to make this video. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea what I want to say. So I'm just gonna go from the top of my head, and this is that video.
May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he make his face to shine upon you. May he lift up his countenance and give you peace. Kiss the Father.
Kevin, you married a great girl, and I wish you all the happiness and success in the world.
Heidi, I just want to say how proud I am of you. We wish you a good, healthy, and long life.
Hey, Hyde, congratulations. We're having a great time. Good luck to you and Kevin. Have a wonderful honeymoon.
Heidi, God bless you. We love you. We wish you the most wonderful and happy years in marriage. Have a great life. We love you. Heidi, you're my niece, and I love you very much, and the best of luck.
Christopher, look!
Christopher, wait a minute. Look at the...
Look at your pajamas.
Your climate!
Where he came. Look at your toys.
Oh, unless you got stinky socks. He left you a note. It says,
Look it.
This is Christopher. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Hope you like your gifts. You've been such a good boy this year. Continue being good and I'll be back next year. Thank you for the cookies. Rudolph loved the carrots. Love Santa.
But where are you?
That's cool, buddy. Thank you.
The day you guys are watching this is the exact time and date that my mom passed. This is not anywhere that I've ever made a video before. This is my mom's, this is where my mom slept every night. This is my parents' room. This is kind of one of the only places in the house that makes me feel the closest to her. If you're wondering what this was my mom's kind of prized possession in a way, her favorite stuffed animal that I got for her. I was like 8, I think, and I used to love stuffed animals, so I got this for her. His name is Doggers. Doggers was kind of her little stress buddy. She brought him to the hospital when she was getting testing done, because if you don't know exactly what happened, or you're new here, my mom passed away last year, November 21st, 2024, from one of the rarest forms of cancer in the world. The way that it happened was 1 in probably billions, with chance 1 in a billion, maybe even worse. It was a cancer called duodenal adenocarcinoma. She passed away at 48, and that kind of cancer only really affects people in their 60s and 70s, and my mom had it in her probably for over 10 years. She never had any symptoms until a week before she died, and well, that was the worst part. Because when we found the cancer, it was stage 4, and there was nothing we could do. It was spread to the liver already, and that was that. So it's been a year since my mom has passed away. But in that year, a lot has happened. A lot has happened. The first thing I do want to say is, I really am blown away by the amount of support that my dad and I have received. There are people that I never have expected to ever talk to in my life, or for that matter, talk to again, for any reason. Kids in school, other people. They were the ones who have been here for us the most. One of our friend's fathers went through a very similar thing where his wife passed away about 7 years ago, I think. He said there's people that you're going to expect to be there that aren't. And then there's people that are going to be there that you would have never thought would have been there. And that's spot on. So what I want to say first and foremost is, to anybody who's been here for me watching this, just thank you. A huge thank you to my school, my high school, my town. I mean, the administration there, the teachers, the staff, the students especially, everybody has pulled through and has done an immense amount for me that I could never ever expect. And I always say to repay the favor, but I don't think I'd ever be able to. And there's times in life that I sit there and I'm like, why would somebody do this for me if I've never done something remotely close to that for them? But I guess it all boils down to, we're all humans, we all know how this would feel. So first of all, thank you. The year has gone by so fast. In a perfect life, the chain in events, how it should work, I guess I'm trying to say, is the first stage of life, you're going to probably lose grandparents. I've lost 2 of my own. I have 2 still here, and I'm very grateful for that, and I realize that. My one grandpa, that was devastating when he passed 8 years ago. But then, when you're older, probably in your 40s and 50s, it then should be your parents. And then, eventually you'll pass on as well. That's kind of how things should be. It really should never be the other way around. The parents should never be burying their children. A kid should never be burying their parent at the age of 17, which I was lucky I had that much time. I know there's kids that bury their parents at 3, 4. I know that. I'm an only child, and right now it's just me and my dad. I have my grandparents and I have people around me. I'm not saying that, but in my house it's me and my dad. And it used to be my mom, my dad, and I. And throughout all my life, I had a much closer relationship with my parents than a lot of other kids do. You could call it only child syndrome or whatever you want to call it, but I was involved with a lot of stuff around the house. I was involved in a lot of decisions. I was involved in, a lot of discussions that maybe an 8-year-old wouldn't be a part of if I wasn't an only child. You know what I mean? So my point is, I had a very, very, very close relationship with my mom, and we were kind of like, it was like we were the same person. Like, we kind of knew what each of us was saying whenever we were saying it, and we kind of knew how each other were feeling a lot. And that kind of just got ripped away from me, It's like, the worst part is there was no time to prepare. You may think cancer, oh, you probably had some time to think about it. No, she got diagnosed on November 16th and died on November 21st. That was 5 days, and really she had strokes from testing, and that happened on November 17th and 18th, November 18th. So I'm talking, I had less than 48 hours to prepare for what was the worst week of my life. And it's just been rough. There are days that I'm perfectly fine. There are days that, I'm like on top of the world, that it's like nothing ever happened. And then there's other days that I feel like my world is ending and I just want to give up. I come on YouTube all the time and I say, I'm never giving up and this and that, and it's true. But the amount of times that I want to is unbelievable. The amount of times I've wanted to give up this past year, the amount of times I just wanted to not do anything. I just think it's important that I keep going, because that's what my mom would ultimately want. She wouldn't want me sitting here and sulking for the rest of my life. She'd want me to keep going. A message to, I guess, anybody else out there going through the same thing is just keep going. Because I've had those moments. To lose a parent at the age of 17, it's not it's just a different feel. There's nothing really that can make me feel better about this. I mean, I talk to people, have a lot of good friends, I have a huge community around me, and that's all amazing. And I don't know where I'd be right now if I didn't have that. I think I know that's them that really got me through this. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't be where I am today. I know that for sure. You know, people say that I'm strong and I'd be okay no matter what, but nobody really knows how hard it is deep down. You know what I mean? And just from last year, just like as an overall thing, there's a lot has changed. Since the day my mom died to now, I mean, my entire world has changed. For the better, for the worse. You know, I mean, there's just so much that just happened between my personal life and graduation. I made that documentary for my baseball team. That was incredible. And I had a premiere about that. And my mom, I wish she was there. She didn't even get to see that. You know, there's just so many accomplishments that have happened. And she hasn't been here. A year ago, on November 17th, or 16th, one of those days, I think it was the Saturday, I think it was the 16th, she got diagnosed with the cancer. And she said to me, in case I die, and I said, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it right now. She's like, no, I'm telling you, in case. In case I die, your yearbook is done. And there's a little ad in there. But I don't want you to see it until you get it. She's like, I want to make your graduation, but I don't think I will. And she kept saying that. And I just said, Mom, are you kidding me? You're going to be fine. Like, they're going to take control of it. We had a whole plan, and the testing just didn't go the way we thought. And the cancer was worse than we thought. I try not to think about the details too much. That's a good way of saying it. You know, I always think about my mom. Everything I do, I think about my mom. It's not that I don't think about her. It's the details in what happened that I don't think about that much. Because that's what starts to get me upset. Everything is just surreal. This past year, I feel like I haven't been living the same life, in a way. I feel like that I'm a very different person than I was a year ago. And I also feel that I am, like, living in another world. You know, it just doesn't feel like I'm Christopher Filippelli from 2023. It feels like I'm some other person living in a dystopian society of my own world. It's just a weird way of explaining it, you know, but everybody loved my mom. I don't think I've ever met somebody who said something bad about my mom. And if they did, she would probably tell them to F off. Let's just be honest. For those who know Heidi, I mean, that's Heidi. By the way, this is her hoodie. She loved this thing. I'm actually going to get this framed soon and put her signature on it. Like, embroider her signature. I'm going to get it framed. I'm going to hang it in my studio room. The amount that people have done for me is absurd. And I can't thank you enough. My journalism teacher, she did a whole fundraiser thing from the staff and the students, and gave my dad and I some awesome Christmas presents last year, which was unbelievable. The amount of people that have just kind of shown up and gone out for me is just amazing. Over 700 people came to the wake and funeral. Unbelievable. But one last thing. As I sit here, I think about everything that's happened, and I wish my mom was here for it. And, you know, I guess if my mom stepped into this room right now and I had a minute to tell her anything, the one thing I would say is I love you. And I don't think I'd say anything else. Because in that minute, instead of talking, I'd rather give her a hug and just that's it. Thank you for watching, and to anybody else out there going through this, just let's stay strong together.